At the part 1 of getting started with Unity, in this part we will cover the basic tool and interface of the program, and in the next part we will cover scripting in C#, so be sure to check the second part when it's uploaded to learn how to write the scripts in C#. As it goes hand to hand with Unity to perform certain actions, I can assure you that you will get a good grasp and understanding of the program after you watch both parts, and they will help you get started in game development. If you watch till the end, we will learn to create this render right here. It's maybe not the most exciting thing in the world, but hey, you will learn something from it and use the link in the description to download Unity. It's a free program. Once on the website, click on the link and follow the instructions to download it. Once you open the Unity for the first time, you might get intimidated with its interface as there are a lot of panels and tabs, and there's a long journey you have to cover. Both parts will help you get started, and you learn and build a muscle memory over time. Quick disclaimer, I'll be working with the mouse as it's so much easier to work with the mouse in Unity. We'll be creating a 3D scene. This will change a few things inside Unity which we can easily change later. So let's just select that and select a location for our game and hit create it. It's always a good practice. After a couple of steps you should press Ctrl+S to save changes to the file. This is an essential step so you don't lose any progress. This is the default workspace of Unity. If you don't see it, or maybe for some reason, panels are closed, you can always go up to the Windows, Layout, and select Default. Now you can drag panels to make some space. To maximize any panel, just hover over the panel and press Shift+space. Press Shift+space again to exit out the maximize view. First, we have the hierarchy, which will include all the objects in the scene that we are currently working with. A scene could be a level or main menu in your game, so hierarchy is going to be a place that includes all the objects that made up your scene. For example, let's add a cube to the scene right here. As you can see now in our hierarchy, we have a camera, light, and a cube, which you can also see in the scene. You can also right click on an object to see its properties like duplicate. On the left side of the scene view, we have the game view. The game view is basically what the camera is seeing when the game is playing. You can also see in the small preview window at the bottom when we select the camera. Once you have the active game running in the scene, we can press this play button over here to enter play mode. Since we have no interaction in our game yet, this is why it looks still. We have the project tab. In the project tab there's a folder right here called the assets. Assets are pretty much stuff you're using in Unity. It can be scriptings, any presets you downloaded from the internet. It is file manager of Unity. Make sure to always organize your files. It will save you from headaches and pains further down the line. And best way to organize projects is using folders. Just right click on space, create folder, and name it accordingly. Next, we have the console. Console is a notification panel of Unity. It is a place where you'll see all of the errors in your code, update messages. The console is your best friend and your enemy at the same time. The inspector is the place where you'll see the properties of anything you selected in the hierarchy or the assets tab. So if I want to adjust the position of the cubs, I can easily do it in the transform tab and mess with the positions axis. You can also see the changes in our scene view. I can also scale our cube or rotate it. Or I can reset its position by right-clicking on transform and selecting reset. I can also change our skybox to any solid color by selecting the camera and changing the skybox to any random color. All the panels you see in the inspector like transform or rigid body, they are called components, so whenever I say component in our code, which I'll cover in the next video, I am referring to any of these tabs in the inspector. We will be working with code to mess with any component and its properties. Then we have the mesh renderer in the scene, which is responsible for drawing the object. If we disable it, we can't see the object in the scene, but it's still in here. Box Collider allows you to collide with other objects. We can add a component by pressing this button right here. For example, let's add a rigid body component. This component is responsible for the physics of our object, like how it collides with other objects, gravity or mass. At the top we have this mini toolbar. It includes tools like move, rotates, scale, and manipulation 2D graphics. We also have a gizmo over here, which allows us to view our object at different angles, or you can press enter to turn the view to isometric. This flattens our geometry and gives us an isometric view. Let's understand the basic navigation. To orbit around, you hold the Alt key and hold right click and drag the mouse. You can hold and drag the middle mouse and drag to pan around. You can also hold the right key on the mouse and press A, W, S, D key on the keyboard to pan and orbit at the same time. Use scroll wheel to zoom in or out. There's a few panels we'll be working with a lot in the Unity, so let's enable them real quick. First one is the project setting. Under the edit and project settings, this is the place we'll be visiting a lot in the future tutorials. Let's dock it on the right side of the inspector, and let's enable the animation and animator tab in the Windows and dock them next to console. These tabs allow you to animate the objects, scenes or characters, which we'll cover in detail in my future Unity tutorials, so make sure to subscribe and hit the bell so you don't miss anything. Select the object in the hierarchy and hover over the scene and press F to focus on it. Let's build our simple scene in Unity. Let's add a cube and scale it accordingly. We can also rename our objects right here. We will be naming each object as we go. Now let's add colors to our object. To add a color we have to use something called materials. To create a material we right-click on Asset panel and go to Create and select Material. We also covered material in Blender tutorials, it's the same properties. Now let's adjust few parameters. Now let's drag our materials to our object. Let's add another object and adjust it accordingly. We'll repeat the same for all of our objects. If you make it this far, congratulations, you've learned a lot today. Share your thoughts in the comments section and make sure to check the second part. Also follow me on Instagram at cg.runner. I would love to see what you came up with. I have a lot of Unity content planned for this channel. To make sure to subscribe and hit the bell so you don't miss anything. See you next time.